for a second. If you look where it
We
says,
started the podcast?
yeah, it says standard issue rifle and then optional rifle. So that's the other one that's going to be
Oh, nice.
in the arsenal.
Okay. I wrote down some like questions and like things I wanted to talk about. I don't know if you have anything you wanted to go with.
I mean, I just have some future CM stuff, but that's it.
Oh, that you want to talk about? Do you want
Yeah.
to do that first?
We can do it after, whenever.
Okay. I guess my first question is, what was the most interesting historical fact you learned from White Rabbit?
Oh my god.
What'd you learn, Travis?
I learned a lot. Hold on, let me go back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to remember.
Well, I'll go. I found it really interesting that we almost nuked Vietnam. That they planned on like using nuclear weapons at Quezon on, and well, they planned for it because they didn't want a Dien Bien Phu, as LBJ said. So they just sort of plotted out the area for nuclear weapons. And then when LBJ found out, he was like, what the fuck? Absolutely not.
What are you guys doing?
What are you doing, Westmoreland?
Is this a bad idea? I thought it'd work.
And that sort of reminded me of the Korean War where, what was his name? MacArthur was like, yeah, could you just like, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, could you overrule the president and nuke China for me? Great.
Yeah, get right on it, sir. Thank you.
And Truman was like, are you fucking, you're fired. Like, get out of here. Yeah, there was a lot of really interesting stuff I learned just by like doing the research for this.
I was really impressed with all the research you did. Like, I learned a lot that way. And I think, I know one big thing is I didn't know we dropped more bombs on Cambodia than Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was funny. And that we straight up negotiated our retreat. We're like, hey, don't attack us yet. Wait until we leave. And they were like, okay.
Yeah, they didn't say, okay, you go to North Vietnam. They stay in South, like this. They didn't have the ceasefire that the Koreas had. They instead were just like, yeah, you guys can keep fighting. We just don't want any part of it anymore. Like, let us leave, and then once we're out of here, you can fight. And I thought that was terrible. I think we treated South Vietnam like shit.
Yeah, quotes on fight. It wasn't really much of a.
No, I mean,
Jake's
South Vietnam's. Oh, Jake's coming. South Vietnam's. Oh, okay. South Vietnam's biggest mistake, the president, I think President Tu, at the end of the war, was they wanted to keep all their territory instead of sort of fighting more intelligently. So they were spread too thin, and so the NVA, who already had more numbers, just kind of was able to push them.
I have a question for you.
What's that?
Who is more at fault for the loss? Because it's a loss. I don't care what you say. It's a loss. Is it the U.S. or is it South Vietnam?
That is a wonderful question. And the answer is the reason we lost the war is because we couldn't win it.
Yeah, that is true.
So I don't know if it's somebody's fault. I think part of the reason that we lost, of course, is that South Vietnam sucked, but it was just better and better at it. So the North Vietnamese and the Viet Cong really figured us out. And a lot of the things that we would want to do that we kind of planned for to fight the Russians, like basically, airstrikes and artillery and like stuff that, on paper makes us the greatest military on the planet, didn't work in Vietnam. We couldn't drive tanks and APCs through thick jungles. They'd get bogged down. And if you can't find the enemy, you can't kill and we just weren't ready for that kind of fight. I think if we had all the technology we had today, if we had 2020 vision, I think we still would have lost that war. I think what America's most at fault for, or at least our politicians, is escalating the war and making it go from a civil war that frankly probably wouldn't have lasted 5 years or 10 years. It would have been much less bloody, to one of the bloodiest conflicts of the 20th century. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah. Well, a very interesting thing. Oh, shit, turn off. And doing research for Desert Storm and everything is how much Vietnam affected the U.S.
Absolutely.
after that. Like,
yeah,
Bush was afraid of going to Iraq. He didn't want to do it. He didn't think the U.S. could do it. At the time, the U.S. was the 9th strongest military in the world. Not first. Like, we were way behind Russia. Like, we were seen as weak and pathetic by, like, everybody. And, like,
you mean in terms of size, not in terms of technology, or
in terms of, like, it's a world ranking that takes a lot of account of history, like recent history and shit. So, like, for the Iran-Iraq war, Iran was the 3rd strongest military in the world. The only ones ahead of them were the UK and Russia, and that was because US was seen as weak because of Vietnam. And then they fucking Iraq was 7th, which was still ahead of the US, just because everybody thought we were pathetic because of Vietnam, because how bad we lost. So they weren't really looking at our weapons and our technology and capability. They were more of just kind of.
Well, that they really did go into that war thinking, and that's why we won it. That's why we won it.
Yeah.
We went in with a limited mindset. We were thinking about Vietnam. Even the media was like, is this going to be another Vietnam? So when we went in with an objective, we had a start goal and an end goal. Things you need when you fight a war. And they were like, once we get Iraq out of Kuwait, that's it. We're done. Like, there's no invading Iraq and trying to, like, stabilize it for 20 years. Which we did a couple decades later.
Yeah. But, like, that is why we were so effective, because we were so scared of Vietnam happening again. We're like, all right, what if we just fuck them up early?
And the other thing I wanted to say is, I don't think, having researched the Vietnam, that the lesson I would take was that America was weak. America absolutely decimated Indochina for 10 years. We just dropped bomb after bomb after bomb. We killed 2 million people. And then on top of that, you have the Khmer Rouge, who killed another 2 million people in Cambodia. And then, who knows what the hell kind of crazy shit was happening in Laos. There was a whole other thing going on over there. The whole subcontinent was completely decimated by this war. Vietnam, it might have technically beaten us, but I will say we gave it a good try.
Yeah,
it's just the adage.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The adage of, like, militarily and strategically unwinnable.
Yeah, there was a quote of a Vietnamese officer or somebody, or the president, that was like, you can bomb us into a crater, we're going to fight you over the crater. And it's like, oh, wow.
And then that's the other thing. We thought if we just bombed the living shit out of them, if we killed enough of them, right? They're trying to get over that crossover point. They're trying just simple, we kill more, but it was body count. The whole, that's why I made body count the central thesis of White Rabbit, was because that's what the central strategy of Vietnam was body count. If we kill enough of them, they'll just give up. They'll just stop they don't want to be communist anymore. But they weren't really fighting for communism. They were fighting for independence. At this point, they've been controlled by the French. they'd be controlled by the Japanese, and they didn't want to be controlled by America or Russia or China. It says a lot that right after this, China and Vietnam went to war over a border conflict. And that's because Vietnam does not want to, it has a long history of fighting China, but Vietnam does not want to be controlled by foreign power. And they were willing to die in the millions. Didn't matter how many of them died. They didn't care. The tenacity of the Vietnamese in that war on the northern side really cannot be understated. And one of the things that I hear coming up again and again is that we sided with the wrong Vietnamese.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's going to be true though. Like, just based on because I learned a lot about the corruption in the South from you, and I'm like, I mean, it is a point that the North wasn't trying to so much fight America as they just wanted their own fucking country.
Yeah, basically, they were like America in our independence, and we were like Britain.
Yeah,
and they didn't want any foreign power determining what their country was going to look like. Now, does that make North Vietnam the good guys? Nope, because they were just as terrible as we were. They committed probably more war crimes. And afterwards, after the war, they, shoved everybody who was part of South Vietnam into re-education camps, and they were classical communists, regime guys. So it's not that they were the good guys and we were the bad guys. It was that both sides were terrible. And that I heard the phrase two Hitlers that was said during I think it's called two dictators or something like that. Two tyrants. And that's what it was. You have America on one side and North Vietnam on the other. And you have the regular Vietnamese people stuck in the middle. And they just got fucked up for 20 or 30 years, basically. My question for you is, do you think we're guilty? Do you think we committed war crimes?
Yeah.
Yeah, we pretty much we did. I don't know if anybody's listening to this, but we definitely committed war crimes.
Blaze is
now.
here.
Blaze is here.
But my thing is, I don't think it's possible to go to war and not commit war crimes. I
think you're right about that. I think at some point something untoward's gonna
civilians are gonna die. It's gonna happen. A soldier is gonna kill civilians. It's and I hate to be the guy who's like, oh no, it happens in war. It's war. It's what happens. But that's true to an extent,
Definitely.
Especially in Vietnam or in Afghanistan and Iraq, when you're clearing house to house, and you never know which house is just gonna fucking explode the moment you open the door. Which woman with her baby in one arm and an AK in the neck and her other is just gonna light you up as soon as you go through the door. And I'm not gonna sit here and say it's right or it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen.
I heard all of it.
Oh, okay, good. My internet I had to restart my router because I wouldn't have internet. So now it's just going to cut out randomly for 10-15 seconds every now and
then. My next point was, what is the meaning of White Rabbit? And what I meant by that is, what does White Rabbit, the character, represent? White Rabbit, I was trying to make him represent sort of like America, or at the very least, Military Assistance Command Vietnam in general, and sort of just be like, they from the top down told U.S. troops to do fucked up shit, and they rewarded them for it, and they didn't and they didn't care until it made the news. My Lai was not just a one-off incident. My Lai happened probably dozens of times. I read a book called "Kill Everything That Moves" or "Kill Anything That Moves," and it's written by a journalist. He's not a historian, and he makes claims that are not correct. Like, for instance, he claimed that we had semi-automatic grenade launchers underbarrel grenade launchers in the war, and I was like that sounds like an awesome weapon, and B, that doesn't exist now.
It's one of those things where, like, if we could, we would have. Don't worry.
We would, but that shows you don't really know anything about like the weapon system at all, because how the hell are you gonna you have like a Mark 19 under your gun? Doesn't make any sense.
Do you have a design for that we could get off you?
Yeah. So, but I wouldn't say that what he said is completely true. I would say it's somewhere between the U.S. didn't kill anyone at all, or it's just a misunderstanding, and what he's proposing, which is from the top down, the U.S. instituted a policy that allowed troops or American troops to murder en masse. And I don't think that's the case either. But there were free fire zones. There were zones where the U.S. just went, in this area, any person, any military-aged man, you could just shoot him. And that's what Mile was, basically, was a free fire zone. They just went, that area, anybody in that area, kill them. And then once it hit the news about the massacre, they were like, let's just punish the lowest possible officer we can, because at the end of the day, I think I mentioned that Mile was connected to like the division commander ultimately.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they don't know about this stuff. And body count sort of enforced it. Sort of was like, this is okay. Because what you have to understand is that American Vietnam is not too much removed from America in World War II. And in World War II, we were firebombing Tokyo.
Yeah,
that war, everybody was terrible in that war. Everybody was terrible in that war, yes. So mindset-wise, it's not too much of a leap to be like, we're already killing people with our bombers. Like, people were getting killed in mass with our B-52 strikes and our F-4s, and just villages getting wiped out, and nobody cares about that quite so much as they care about us walking into Mile and physically shooting everybody. But when you think about it, what's really the difference?
Yeah.
I don't know if there is. So that's why I kind of made this chapter to be about America. I made DLC. Hey, do you want better weapons and stuff? Well, you got to kill people, and some of those people are going to be civilians, and I'm going to be fine with that. Because I wanted to point to the fact that that's just kind of what America did. We kind of covered why America failed in Vietnam. And you asked who is responsible for America's failure. Now, I think I meant in a more specific way. Like what president? I would say every single president involved in this war. So I would say it's probably LBJ's fault for getting us into the war, but I think it's important to understand that we were involved in Vietnam back in 1945. That Truman was doing stuff in Vietnam, Eisenhower was doing stuff in Vietnam, JFK was doing stuff in Vietnam. It was like 5 presidents. It wasn't just LBJ. And we covered how tough North Vietnam was. I mean, I was thinking about this whole chapter. Like, could you imagine being an NVA soldier and like looking up and seeing an F4 Phantom just dropping napalm like on your position? Like that, the fact that the balls of these guys, the balls of being able to fight under that sort of like hell is incredible to me.
So here's a question. Do you know, did they use drugs?
Oh, fuck yes. You mean our soldiers?
No, not our soldiers. Everybody knows our soldiers did. Did the North Vietnamese use, like, opium or, like, shit to calm their nerves?
I'm sure they did. I don't know. I haven't read or seen anything that would suggest that. It's sort of like, it's just sort of like, we're not going to get the full truth from them. But I have no doubt. I mean, that's just sort of a part of war, is people are going to be addicted to painkillers. And I imagine the usage of morphine or whatever they could get their hands on was definitely part of it, I'm sure. Because I cannot imagine being a North Vietnamese soldier and seeing that shit.
Like, I need some shit if, like, I watch a F4 napalm an entire company and then you tell me go where that company is.
Go where that company is. We need that hill.
I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna officer, captain. I'm gonna need some good shit if you want me to
Captain,
do that.
The last company's gone. It's just gone. Like, the remainder came back with, like, their faces burned off. You want me to... Oh, okay. And then they just did it. They did it for 10 years. They were just, like, cool with it.
Okay, boss.
All right.
Sure thing. No problem.
Well, I'm sure people deserted. I'm sure people did drugs. I'm sure... another thing we didn't really get to touch on is rape. Obviously, we can't do that in a video game. Well, we probably could, but rape was a huge problem.
If we could have.
I wouldn't have wanted to do it. I just wanted to shoot female soldiers. I didn't want to, like, cover that topic. And racism obviously was a huge factor too in boot camps at the time.
Yeah, that's a thing in every war, though. And
yes, it definitely is. And I think that's sort of like reinforcing like a hatred of the enemy.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that's
now,
sort of a very powerful thing.
At the risk of completely getting my non-existent, non-monetized, people don't watch it YouTube channel canceled. I believe at some level there is a benefit to racism in war. And
yes, I think that's what I was touching on. Yeah. Is it makes a target. It makes it easier for you to justify killing someone.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're telling a person to kill someone. They're not gonna sit you down and be like, "All right, this nice man over here is gonna try to kill you, and you're gonna try to kill that nice man. That man's done nothing wrong to you personally." No, he's gonna be like, "That motherfucker is a piece of shit." And if you let him into anywhere near your home, he's gonna rape and murder your wife. So you better shoot him. Like, of course, yes, because it's just very important psychologically to get people to do the fucked up shit you need them to do. Yes, I don't think there's that. That's just objectively true. Does that mean that I agree with it? No.
It goes back to the thing where just because it's a beneficial doesn't make it right.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
There was a burning hatred in this country. Go about their day. They don't want to fucking do anything.
They just wanted, whatever they do. I don't know what they do there. They probably just like herd goats and I know they like drink like Fanta or something. They like
I work with a guy who thought I was gonna be really racist towards because I'm from New York and 9/11 and all that, and he's not a practicing Muslim, but he grew up Muslim, and he's just like, "Oh, I hope you're not like gonna be racist." And I'm like, "No, dude, I don't give a shit."
Yeah, but if you think about the context of terrorism, more Muslim people have been murdered by terrorists, by Islamic terrorism than anyone else. Like, who do you think they're killing the most? People in their own backyard, especially in like Iraq. Like they were bombing people trying to vote. What lessons did America learn from Vietnam? I would actually say we touched on this with the Persian Gulf War, but we also learned about the importance of accuracy of our bombs. We learned in the early 70s we started using laser-guided munitions, and that was really a game changer, and that really would help with killing the people you want to kill. Yeah. And that's really developed since then. I mean, now we have that weird, was it that ninja bomb that's just basically they just drop a shit ton of swords on someone? And...
No, it's a missile that fucking bursts open and shoots out a bunch of fucking sharp blades, and it's like, all right, that's not necessary. Like, hit them with the missile. Clearly, you can hit them with the missile. Why do you need to now just have blades burst out of it and annihilate them? Like,
yeah, but if I have a sick missile with samurai swords glued in it,
But it's like
now there's no like possibility some little kid eating ice cream 10 feet away is going to get killed by it. So I kind of get that.
yeah, but
in
like
Vietnam, they just cluster bombed.
Just have an inert missile. If you hit somebody with a missile that is 10 feet long, that weighs a few hundred pounds, it's going Mach 5, it's gonna kill them. Just the impact is gonna kill them. And we can do that.
That's true.
But instead, we fucking pack it full of missiles. Or full of
swords.
Like, clearly the argument somebody had was like, well, I can fucking make this thing, so...
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah, we could hit them with a missile, or we... Wouldn't it be cooler?
I agree. It's much more cool. Well, in Vietnam, our tactics when it came to air combat, or when it came to strategic bombing, hadn't evolved much from World War II. Again, we were just like, let's just bomb the living shit out of everything. Let's just cluster bomb the entire countryside. Just whatever, just blow everything up. And we won't aim for schools, but whatever. There's a school a block away from a munitions factory. Well, whatever. It got blown up. And then when you fast forward to the Iraq War, now they're using, and again, it's not like innocent people didn't die, but they're using laser guided munitions and like GPS guided munitions, because they realized, the optics of flattening an entire country for 10, 15 years probably doesn't look good. And if we want to keep fighting, and I would say that these changes helped, because instead of us getting sick of the war after 10 years or 15 years, now we get sick of the war. Now we can fight that war for 20 years.
Yeah, and then get
without
sick of it.
And then, we were probably all sick of it 10 years ago, but they were still able to. And also, they learned the importance of body armor. They learned the importance of minimizing your casualties, because in Vietnam, they don't give a shit about casualties as much as they do now. And that's also, and another thing they learned from Vietnam was, instead of using, what was the last thing you heard?
Instead of using conscripts,
we use, now when we go to war, we use reserves and like the National Guard and stuff like that. That's what the Bushes kind of learned. They were like, just do that instead.
I was invulnerable.
Because using conscripts just kind of turns your populace against a war a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Especially if it's already not a pretty morally dubious war. Like World War II, I think, is sort of like, I would say it's the example that kind of proves the point, or it's the, what is it, I can't remember the term, the exemption that proves the rule, or something like that.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say. I don't know what the term is.
I can't remember what the term is. But basically, you're just like, hey, we're freedom-loving Americans. We love Jewish people. You can come over here and live in New York. And then here's the Nazis, and they're like, we hate everyone. We're going to kill everyone. We're going to kill you and steal your land and develop corn.
That's what they
basically, like the Nazis were basically mustache-twirling villains. To the point that they were demonstrably terrible for their own war aims. Because they're like, let's just take all this manpower and resources into murdering our own populace or other countries' populace that we could have been using either to be fighting these wars, or we could have been using them to make munitions. Like, these are factory workers you could have been using, but instead you just decided to put them in death camps. You just murdered like 10 million people that you could have used, and you just didn't. And in the instance of Ukraine, where they immediately were just terrible, Ukraine like welcomed them with open arms and was like, "Oh my God, Russia sucks. Thanks for saving us, Nazi Germany." And then Nazi Germany is like, "Let's get in this train." And then immediately the Ukrainians are doing guerrilla warfare. Are you still here?
Yeah.
What lessons did we not learn from Vietnam? Don't have a plan. That's what we didn't learn. We didn't I don't know why we didn't figure this out. If you're gonna invade a country, have a plan for when you're gonna leave. Have an end game. And I think Russia did the same thing with Ukraine right now. Why? They don't have an end game now. Their end game is, I guess, fight until Ukraine gives up and just accepts their demands, I guess.
Yeah,
that could be years.
And Ukraine's kind of gonna win that one too.
Because
eventually all the people of Russia are gonna be like, fuck you, bud," and they're just gonna leave.
Well, they're already leaving, and now he's just throwing conscripts out there with old Soviet equipment, and I think in some cases they have bolt actions, and they're like, "All right, good luck. Here's a day of training." Oh, what? This war's unpopular? And I get it from Putin's point of view. He's probably terrified because every time the Russian country has changed governments, it was preceded by a lost war. At least in the last century. You had World War I, then you had Afghanistan. So I'm sure he's absolutely terrified. And
Hello?
Hello.
Last thing I heard was, "And the other thing is."
I don't know. I went on a rant.
Sorry,
this thing about the oligarchs.
This internet is
it's
horrible.
fucking oligarchs, Blaze.
Hey,
the oligarchs.
Hi.
I'm glad somebody else is here because my fucking internet is being horrible.
I mean, it's not that they're just not making
me.
money; they're actively losing it.
Yeah,
Nomad's here too. Yay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nomad.
Fuck you too, buddy.
Oh, okay. Well, since you guys are here, I got some questions for you guys. What was the most interesting historical fact you guys learned from White Rabbit?
I'm thinking through them.
Yeah. Probably the final evacuation from Vietnam was.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely terrible.
I always read about it and seen it, and then I was like, "Oh, it couldn't have been that bad," but apparently it was a clusterfuck.
Well, because the ambassador was in denial. He was like, "Oh no, they're not going to attack Saigon. They only took over the whole rest of the country, but they're not going to attack Saigon." That hasn't been their goal for the last 15 years. What about you, Chimp?
I mean, I thought everything was interesting. It's hard for me to recall a specific one at this moment. I don't have them in front of me.
Okay.
He's saying he wasn't paying attention.
I was paying attention.
There's a lot of shit. It's a lot of shit.
It was about the equivalent of the entire semester of the World War II class I took in college.
That's high praise to me. I'm very happy to have heard that.
Yeah, it was a lot of information. Blaze, we have a message from a viewer. Blaze said the veterans chucking their medals at the white Osu. I don't know what the Osu is.
It wasn't at the White House, Blaze. It was at Congress.
The White. How did you know he meant White House?
Because he said.
Because it's inferred.
Whatever. Asshole.
Aren't like all the major buildings are white?
Yeah, they are. It's pretty
To
confusing.
confuse our enemies.
That's right. If they ever want to bomb the
Attack
Capitol.
the White House. Which one?
With this one with the dome or this one with the pillars?
Are you okay, Scott?
Well, I'm playing not next week, but the week after next week's op. I ambushed from behind. It's extra scary because I'm supposed to be invulnerable.
Or you're not. Another question for Nomad and Chimp. Were we guilty? Did we commit war crimes?
The answer's no.
I mean, it depends who you're asking. If you're asking the laws of Geneva, then probably, but in the eyes of most Americans, no.
And then who do we mean by we?
Oh, I meant us in the campaign. Did we commit war crimes?
You did. Made us go back.
I definitely did.
Go check that house again.
Oh yeah, that.
Make sure they're dead. No, I checked. They're dead. No, go back and check again.
Me and Travis
confirmed that it's
committed them.
on fire. Yeah, it's on fire.
There were times I thought this whole campaign that I was gonna have to like talk you guys into it. Like I was gonna be like this whole time I'm like, it's not realistic enough. I can't just expect them to murder an entire village. That's impossible. And then like one mission after the mission where we kill villagers, you guys are just like, oh, I'll just shoot these guys.
Okay, so you do realize this is the group we have to actively tell them to leave civilians alone.
It's true. I know that, but I put like bunny rabbits and like candy canes in there. I was like, oh, they're perfectly innocent. I tried to make it a little gray.
I remember on one of the final ops when we had the tank and everything defending the airfield and the base and all that. There was all kinds of people running at 400, 500, 600, 800 meters out there, and we couldn't tell who was who. So I told Travis to start launching grenades at him. I don't give a shit who's who anymore. Just kill everything that moves.
Very good. I'm very happy that happened. I was like, oh, there's a civilians. I didn't say anything. It was what I don't know why they're running this way, but if they're running towards gunfire, they must be pretty stupid.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, if you run
on.
towards gunfire, you can't be surprised if you get shot.
It's very true. And they did literally look I mean, the civilians did look exactly like the enemy. Like, they had conical hats and like, black on. So, yeah. And then, what did you guys think? Why do you think America failed in Vietnam? I asked Travis.
Say gummy bears.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they weren't used to guerrilla tactics being used against them for the first time. So I said if the war was stayed conventional, they'd had a much better time. But trying to adapt on the fly to the new guerrilla tactics would have been, extremely hard for anybody, let alone an army that's fought conventionally for the past 150 years.
During the Eastern Offensive, in I think 72, they tried to. I don't know what possessed them to try conventional warfare against the United States, but they lost terribly. We just wiped them out with B-52s. What about you, Chimp?
No plan. No real plan. The plan was basically, go over there and win.
Yeah, basically. I mean, their plan was body count. So they were like, just kill as many people as possible. And it didn't really matter to them if they were actually Viet Cong or if they were civilians. It didn't matter. A dead Vietnamese was a Viet Cong in their book. And they didn't really have it. They couldn't go on the territory strategy, which every other war in the history of mankind had been fought on. So they were like, because they would take a hill and lose a bunch of bodies. I mean, famously Hamburger Hill, they would lose. They lost, I think, like 50 men trying to secure. Actually, it might have been more than that. Hold on, let me look it up. But basically, they would take territory, and then they wouldn't hold it because there was no point in holding it. Absolutely. Let's see. Battle Hamburger Hill.
Oh, that's when McDonald's and Burger King had a big fight, right?
So they said 72 killed, and yes, that was during the Hamburger Wars.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was the scene from the end of the Paper Brigade.
What's the Paper Brigade?
Never mind.
Just tell us, because now I need to know.
It was I don't know if it was a Disney Channel original, but it was a movie that was on the Disney Channel all the time when I was a kid.
Do you guys remember the movie Xenon or whatever?
Xenon Girl of the 21st Century?
Yeah, remember that scene where she murdered an entire village of people?
I don't remember that part.
It was pretty awesome. I did watch it on acid, so. Let's see. And then, who specifically, like what individual do you think is responsible for America's failure in Vietnam?
I think it's possible to pin it on one person. More of a collective effort.
That's the objective answer. But what would, in your opinion, if you were to pick one person?
Basically, you got the right answer, but he wants you to not.
Westmoreland.
You said genius. What you meant was flawless.
Flawless. Perfect.
If there are no people, there are no bad guys.
That's true. That's very true. Westmoreland was he was basically, I heard him described as boring. He was not he was sort of just like a soldier. He didn't really think outside the box, and he was a World War II guy. A lot of the generals, a lot of the guys in charge in Vietnam were World War II people and Korea people. And one of the biggest things that they were thinking about specifically from Korea, one of the biggest threats of the war was China invading back, because that's what happened in Korea. So their whole mind, that's why we never invaded the North, because we were afraid of China coming, swooping down and pushing us back into the sea, like they almost did in Korea. But when it came to World War II, they're fighting with World War II tactics in a war that was completely different. Why is Vietnam so minimized in history?
We lost.
Yeah.
Because we lost, and because Vietnam is now one of our biggest allies in Asia.
Well, that's because Vietnam hates China.
Well, that, and we give them a lot of money.
Chip, what I mean by minimized is in American history, I don't know how much of history of Vietnam you learned in high school, but I learned absolutely nothing.
I suppose you could go by that metric, but then, you don't really learn anything in history in high school.
No, that's true. They kind of just go over the hits, but it's one of the biggest wars in American history, and they're just like, yeah, it happened. Here's a 3-paragraph summary of literally the Cold War, sort of one of the biggest things in American history. We'll just gloss over.
They did that with Korea too, though.
Korea is famously called the Forgotten War.
Yeah, it's like there's almost nothing on Korea, even though it is perhaps just as, if not more significant than Vietnam.
I would definitely say definitely, yeah.
All right, I gotta hop down to the other channel.
All right, bye.
This is Nito, though.
Would you call it Nito Burrito? Oh my God.
Yeah, I would say Vietnam was minimized for exactly what Travis said. I think there was a national shame. Like, it really is buried. It really, like, generationally, the generation that fought in Vietnam doesn't really talk about Vietnam. Doesn't really, except for war. Of course they do, but it's sort of very hush hush. I heard a story about how one vet was like best friends with somebody and didn't even know he was a vet until like the wives were talking to each other.
I can remember my grandpa never really talking about it.
Yeah, my grandparents never talked to me about Vietnam ever. Nobody. It was like this national tragedy, and everybody just shut the hell up about it. And I think Travis nailed it. I think it's because they felt we lost. They felt ashamed of basically we just did all that bullshit for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, look at the two major wars we fought during the Cold War, and we didn't win either one. Like,
I would say we did better. We back lost.
Yeah, because they're losers.
Yeah, they didn't fight. They didn't want to be free. They didn't like cheeseburgers enough.
That's how we should fight wars. Like, you want a cheeseburger?
Do you or do you not like cheeseburgers? And then, like, I don't know, right? Rand's like, we don't eat pork. And we go, what do you fucking mean you don't eat
What's
pork?
wrong with you?
We said
What do you mean you don't?
burger, cheeseburger.
Oh, a hamburger. Yeah, we said burgers. What do you mean? Well, you put bacon on your burgers. What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, it's
Fucking
good.
eat it. That's 100 cc's of concentrated freedom. Don't forget the fries on the side. It's very important. What was your guys' favorite mission?
That's a tough one.
I would. I don't know. My favorite moment. I don't know about mission, but my favorite moment was in the APCs, the M113s crossing the river, and just because like it felt cinematic going into it, and then the whole crossing was a 10-frame cinematic masterpiece of just, and it was amazing. I just loved sitting on one side of the river while watching our APCs cross and get blown up, and seeing tanks over there and going, "Oh, you fucking tank!" That was amazing. My favorite mission was probably the defense op at the airfield.
Oh, the one you made?
What? No, I didn't make one. Oh, no. I don't mean that defense op. The defense.
I like that defense op though.
That was fun, yes, but the defense.
I'm gonna miss it.
Oh God, what is it? What was it? I don't know what it was called. It was one of the last ones where there was the tank.
It was the one I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Oh
That
yeah,
one.
the Easter offensive. Yeah, that one was. It's funny. The ones you guys like are like the ones I don't like because I was just Zeusing the whole time.
Well,
I'm like.
I will say, if as a mission maker, your quality definitely improved towards the end.
Oh, I completely 100%.
You were getting a lot better.
Yeah.
And
Yep, definitely.
One of the first ones was pretty nice. It just felt a little grand. I think it was the first one where Meme crashed into the mountain because he wasn't paying attention.
Nah, that wasn't the first one.
Oh, that
one
was
of the first ones.
the second one. Yeah, that was the second one.
Yeah, I don't mean the first one. Though it was fun flying around.
The first was the French.
Yeah, it was fun flying around in that A1.
That was probably my least favorite.
I was like, I hope I'm hitting enemies. Because I just saw people shooting and went, do I shoot at those people shooting? Or so I'd go down and shoot a little bit at them and see if they shot back at me.
Oh, there was a point where you were bombing us, and that was the exact effect I wanted.
When nobody was fucking talking to me.
That's because everyone was
one of my favorites was the Quezon defense. When Jake led and we all sat in the town.
Oh, that was Way City. Yeah.
Way City, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's another one of those missions where everybody liked it, but I don't like it because I was Zeusing the whole time.
Dude, that's why I don't like to Zeus, because I like to play my missions.
No, I agree.
It
The trigger that was supposed to happen didn't.
It is
work,
very
so
hard to do defense ops without Zeusing.
Yeah, that was a good mission. This whole chapter was built around that one specific mission. It was the mission where we were in the APCs and we had to cross the river. That one song, Hellbound Train. I heard it and I just thought up this whole thing.
Yeah,
because I love that song so much.
That was so. I could have sat on that side of the river just shooting at the other side for hours. Like that could have been the whole fucking mission. I would have been a happy camper.
It was awesome, and it was.
What one was
that was the very first mission when we were French.
Oh.
And it also, like, because it killed like half the team with the buildings, and I was just brand new to pretty much mission making.
Yeah, you have to learn where you can and can't hide buildings and put new buildings down.
Oh yeah. After that, and the thing is looking back at it, that area, it would have been fine if I had done nothing to it. If I had just done nothing to that area at all, it would have been perfectly fine. But I did really like that mission because we got to be the French, and I got to show you all those fun little French guns and stuff, and
F1 and shit.
Dude, some of those French guns. That one that's loud as fucking hell.
Oh, the Mass 36.
Yeah, it's like bang. It's like what the fuck?
They use that I think in World War II as well. That I really liked. I really wanted to like teach you guys about the weapons that the Vietnamese would like pick up, like that. For instance, the MAT 49 is like one of the most like commonly used submachine guns that the Vietnamese would use, and they got it from the French. They actually recalibrated it into I think 7.62 by 2.5, I want to say. Yeah, because they, I think they had more of that. And then I wanted to talk about my inspirations for White Rabbit. Could you guys guess what video game most inspired this chapter?
Men of War.
What's that?
Men of War.
Oh, are you talking about that one Vietnam War game?
Yeah, by the makers of the original Medal of Honor in Call of Duty.
I played that. I did play it.
They had a lot of cool.
I know Kyle's a big fan of Rising Storm.
Rising Storm was a very big part, yes. But actually, it was Spec Ops: The Line.
Oh yeah,
great game.
I have it. Haven't played it.
It's great. I would say the gameplay is a little dated these days, but the story, I won't give it away, is phenomenal. And that's where I got some of the music. The Black Angels, specifically the song at the very, very end, was Bad Vibrations by the Black Angels. And I love their music. And what other inspirations did I have? Obviously, I picked up some stuff from Apocalypse Now, but for the most part, I really just stuck to shit that actually happened in the war, because it was such a really weird war.
There's a lot of shit like that, though. Like,
yeah, all wars really.
There's so much cool real life lore out there that is just completely.
Oh my god! Yeah, I'm so excited about this chapter because the Persian Gulf War. There's just so much information about it.
We only have one op in it.
I know. I hate you. Just should have done the whole chapter Persian Gulf. Should have done the whole chapter Iraq.
The war lasted for 2 months. Okay.
It's true.
Our chapter would have to be longer than the actual war. Also, there wasn't a lot of ground engagements. It was kind of like, all right, let's fuck them up in the air, send in the infantry. What do you mean they're all dead? What do you mean they all?
The infantry's just driving past corpses.
It's like, what do you mean they surrendered to the Apache gunships? That's what? They can't do
Yeah,
that.
it turns out, yeah, they learned a lot. They learned a lot from Vietnam, and
Yeah.
they got very impressive.
Fuck them up early, fuck them up often.
It was majestic.
I wanted to take some out of Jarhead for that mission, but there's almost nothing I can use from Jarhead.
2 guys, and instead the like colonel or some shit comes in and goes, "No, don't shoot him. We're just gonna blow him up."
Yeah, like that's the only bit of action in the whole fucking movie, and it's like, all right.
I thought you might use some Generation Kill though.
I haven't seen it.
It's great. It's great. Cannot recommend it enough.
Mostly, it's I mean, the mission for tomorrow is pretty generic, I guess you could say. Like, I mean, Kyle, you read the briefing and stuff, right?
I haven't read it yet. I was poking through it.
I mean, Blaze, we're gonna do more Sunday ops this chapter, hopefully, once we get rolling on the chapter proper after all the prequels and stuff. But we got to do some basic trainings before then. But with Nomad making some missions, it's gonna no one person's gonna be struggling to make a mission every week, so we can do some Sunday ops and shit and have some fun there. And I definitely want to do more Desert Storm stuff because we get to use the fucking Apache gunship. And who doesn't love the Apache gunship? Though I will say the RHS Apache is much better than the Cup one.
I believe it. I believe it.
I think the RHS assets are more detailed in how they're used. Like the Apache and Cup is more simplified. You just get in and do it. Where in the RHS one, you have to use that helmet, and then you have to enable it and do some extra hoops to jump through to fly it right. But the Cup one
is that the Apache we used during that one? What was it? Glitch mission.
Those glitch campaign missions, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was
yeah.
It's not that detailed. Like, it's still insane. Like, I did this mission because I play all the missions, I test them. And I did it with an AI gunner that just completely decimated the fucking convoy just with a gun. He didn't launch any rockets. He just 30 millimeter, took out APCs and shit. And I'm like, oh, wow, buddy.
I don't even know how you make it. It was so difficult to make missions with the Cobra. Like, I was like, okay, then the Cobra kills everything. And then we walk in and don't have anything to fight.
So the way this one is set up is, I think it's only Blaze who's going to get spoilers here. It's built around the Apache, so we have the Apache, and then ground team has to take out a known SAM position. So there's like a SAM site. So before the Apache can even move in, they have to take out a SAM site. And then there's the convoy, and pretty much the ground team is watching the Apache decimate the convoy, which hopefully won't be too boring because they're just going to see this Apache come in and
I don't think that's the word I'd use.
fucking annihilate this thing. And then there's a base we have to assault. Oh, that's a convoy. There's this base that we have to assault. And there's hard targets like tanks and APCs and stuff for the Apache to take out. The ground team will be like, hey, here's an APC, take it out on my lays, blah, blah, blah. But there's an HVT named HVT. Oh, wait, I spoiled it. Anyways. If you look at the name of the HVT in the briefing, his name is, hold on. I'm so proud of it. What's his name? What's his name?
Henry Victor Thompson.
Oh, I mean, well, he's Arab.
Hala. I don't know any of these for Arabic. And Thompson Ali.
Did I really not put it in the briefing at all? It's in the briefing in game. His name is General Hadi Vasim Tahid.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, so his name's HVT. So like the Apache can't just light up every building because we're trying to find this guy. So they can engage targets as support, but the ground team has to do the brunt of the work on the ground to find and capture alive Nomad.
Has that ever worked? See, there's a reason I was like, you don't have to capture him alive. You just have to confirm that he's dead. That's your mission.
Bear.
See, I always go bear.
Bear's good guys. USEC's bad guys.
Wait, doesn't Lighthouse let you walk around if you're USEC?
Yeah. Yeah, there's raiders, USEC raiders, and if you're a USEC, they're friendly to you. Or they won't
Oh, well
openly
then
engage you.
I'll probably go USEC this time. I can always change it.
I'm probably not gonna play. But what was I saying? So yeah, it just keeps the chopper grounded so they can be like, oh hey, like there's some infantry engaging you from here, and the ground team can be like, okay, none of those are the bad guy, please kill them. But I mean, you gotta prioritize the experience for ground team over the air crew, which sucks, but
Yeah, that's you were telling me that. That was definitely one of the more helpful tips. That you gotta prioritize the ground crew.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, it's the problem when you got 2 guys in the air and 12 guys on the ground. I mean, 12 guys are gonna be bored easier than 2 guys.
yeah.
See, my solution was to just fill the whole map with bad guys, but apparently Travis was like, "Kyle, you're overwhelming us with constant firefighting." Apparently, you guys
Because we
want
were
to get
dying.
Shot out.
What are you doing on the roof?
Kyle, please, less people. No, that was fine. I was like, all right, that'll be easier on the server too. That was something that was really hard. This chapter was those maps. They were so pretty, but they
just
hated
frames.
us.
Yeah.
They hated us. Unless we were in the middle of nowhere, then we were fine.
Yeah, I'm hold on, this is gonna hurt. Ow. I'm happy to an extent that so the Marine Corps campaign Marine Corps story or missions, whatever they are, were originally on Fallujah 1.22, which has all the enterable buildings and shit. And
that must be bad.
And Alive won't work on that map. And I kind of am relying on Alive for quite a bit in this chapter. So I had to go to 1.2, and I'm happy because it's a lot better on frames. Hey, it kicked?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's good. Wow, they give you a lot of good shit as USEC. I was actually really happy with the mods this chapter. I know people didn't like the aircraft carrier, but I liked it. It was fine.
That one and Gore tend to tank frames.
What's that?
Whenever you had the whole fleet, not just the carrier, but the whole fleet, it really tanked frames, at least for me.
Oh yeah. That's why after a while I just used the carrier.
Yeah, and in the Gore mod, really tanked my
frames really? Too. Oh, because it would blow people's heads off and they would just sit there?
No, not that part of it. Just the static shit you could place down fucking killed frames. I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
But it raped my frames into oblivion. Super happy I'm saying all this on YouTube. I'm totally not gonna get my channel.
It's going right. We're gonna get fired.
Yeah, strikes against.
We're gonna get Twitter fired.
Oh, I'm on. What's it called? YouTube. Jesus Christ.
YouTube's.
Jesus Cristo.
Why don't we move the Charlie mission? Why would we? They don't exist yet.
No. The first Marine mission.
That's sad.
So on the first. Just because it's
I'm depressed.
Well, so the issue with it is it's the whole idea is we're going into Fallujah in 2014. Now the second battle of Fallujah was 2006. So like after that, the city was pretty much pacified. So the idea is ISIS is coming in and taking over Fallujah, and we're going in to try to stop it. So there's not a ton of contact in this mission, to be completely honest with you. I mean, there's a chance that Alive decides there is, but for the most part, there's not. It's mostly a setup mission, kind of to get our feet wet in it. But the so the option for the Osprey pilot is to fly us in and then fly back and forth between our patrol base and the main base to get supplies. So right now we only have 2 fixed wing pilots eligible, myself and Chimp. Chimp said he's not really feeling it, and I don't blame him because doing Logi for 2 hours while everybody else is on the ground patrolling and having fun is kind of boring. I don't necessarily want to do it just because it is the first Marine Corps mission and I want to experience it from the ground. So we'll probably have to go in with a Super Stallion.
Oh, that's fine. I like the Super Stallion.
Yeah, I mean it's just for insert, so I mean it's not, and it's with Drongos, so it should land a lot better than Arma AI.
Speaking of the Stallion, I was really impressed with what was it, Meme landing on the roof of the embassy. That was
He did really
that was
well.
stellar.
Yeah, he was all. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, Meme, you're doing fine. Don't worry about it. He's like, oh gosh.
Yeah, I was like, there's a reason that was the optional objective. I was like, that's worth 25 points right there.
He literally all he heard was he needs to land on the roof. Like he didn't hear optional. He's like, oh, I gotta land it on the roof. Oh gosh. It's like, no, it's an option, Meme. No, I have to land it on the roof.
I don't know where you landed at, but I was like, yeah. Or you could have taken the other option was you could have just taken a Huey.
He literally put it down like perfect on that thing. Too high.
He landed it because I was watching Zeus. He landed it like diagonally, like he had the wheels on one roof and then on like that lower roof, and then he fixed it, and I was like, oh shit.
He did a good job.
And then, yeah, I was really happy with the pilots. If I had any regrets for this chapter, it would be not using Nam, because I bet that would have been more stable.
The map?
Nam 2, yeah.
Did we even go on that map much?
We didn't use it at all this chapter. But it had another Saigon.
Oh, you saying that map would have been more, yeah.
Yeah, it probably would have been more stable, and there's some stuff I could have done with it.
Yeah, that SOG Prairie Fire DLC is just asking a lot out of computer. Like you're already taking one of the least optimized games out there and saying, what if we demanded a little bit more?
Yeah, it really was. I will say I was really impressed with the guns. The AKs for Unsung, though, were like beautiful. Like they had like cherry oak. I was like in love with them. I was really sad we were going to do a Spetsnaz mission, but I couldn't get it to work. That was one of the ones I couldn't get to work.
Yeah.
Well, and we could have used those nice cherry oak AKs. It would have been beautiful. But that's okay. What was the stuff you wanted to say about next mission or next chapter?
Yeah, and say the future of Charlie Mike.
The future.
Well, so I think Blaze is the only one watching at this point. But we have our not mandatory training, but we're pushing training a lot more. And did I get disconnected again? No? I'm good.
Oh, you're still here.
So training's gonna take precedent, and this is gonna be a thing going forward, where at the beginning of a chapter we'll have some prequel ops to get time for everybody to come to BIT, and then we're gonna do a few group sessions of BIT so people can get their advanced roles, which are Grenadier, Auto Rifleman, and Marksman for the most part. If we have designated AT, it'll be that. Team Leader. But things like Ammo Bearer, Rifleman AT, and stuff will remain open. But we need our player base to be more conscious of decisions and more tactical in their decision making and everything. Because right now it wasn't just your chapter. I don't want you to think it was just Vietnam, because it happened
No,
through
it
a
was
lot
happening
of
before.
yeah, it happened through a lot of chapter 4 of just attacked like a clump, a mess of people running from objective to objective, and like that's not how we like to play. That might be how some people here like to play, and it sounds harsh, but honestly, if we lose a couple people over saying, hey, you have to come to training to get the cool slots, then
Oh, I got annoyed about people wanting to do marksman this chapter. That's
yeah.
why I just got rid of it eventually.
Yeah, well, like if there's not going to be a marksman slot in the Marines for a while, just because it's not like it's not a common slot you see in combat anyways. Like not every squad has a marksman. But like even for like auto riflemen and stuff, like it's a slot that people want, but we need people to be a little more conscious on their training. So every chapter will have 3 or 4 weeks of just prequel ops, and while we do basic infantry trainings, and that will not, in those ops you can, the whole rule of you need to have training to get those slots won't be in effect, so that we have time to get those trainings done. And it's just so we can be a little more tactical and play how we're used to playing, those of us who have been around since chapters 1, 2, and most of 3, and OG Charlie Mike, and really focus on that type of shit.
I think one of the big things too is making leadership, utilize the roles that they have correctly. Because I noticed last time, nobody hardly utilized the point man to what he was supposed to be. They just pretty much ignored him.
Yeah, I think we only really used it well when it was you and me clearing buildings, and
probably
I was just following you. I had my flashlight out. I'm like, okay, does this help?
That's good. When I didn't give a shit. I was just going. I'm point. That's where I'm going.
You are the greatest point man in the history of ever. Nomad, you were beautiful.
But and then we're gonna do our indocs for our new members are gonna be more involved, because we've been, at least especially me, just been kind of running through the motions getting them in. But they're gonna be a little more involved, a little more focused, so that a new member who comes in will still be considered basic infantry trained. And but it's all stuff that it's not even as restrictive as OG Charlie Mike. Like OG, you had to take marksman course to be a marksman. Like it was a requirement for that.
I wouldn't complain about that, but
no, but like let's be baby steps. And then we'll have like advanced infantry. I think Nomad's doing a special thing this chapter for that. I don't want to reveal anything.
I can't wait for that.
But like that's just gonna be the same as it always is, just a little bonus. And then yeah. But like the whole training thing we're really gonna focus heavily on this chapter, especially for basic. And it's gonna, for chapter 7, when we go into that one, and we're gonna have a couple prequels, and everybody's gonna have to take basic again. Like I'm sorry, but we're gonna do basic training every chapter, and it's, if you want special slots, you gotta take it. And we're and your fucking pig, and your fucking dog, and your grandma, especially your grandma.
What was the last thing you said, Nomad?
If you can't come, then something about the dates.
If you can't make it to any of the preset dates, so like we're doing one Monday, tomorrow, Monday, yeah, tomorrow, and we'll probably, maybe we'll do one at the end of the week. We'll do another one next week. We'll do another one the week after that. So we'll have plenty of opportunity for people to come. But if you can't make it to a preset, we'll do one-on-one. I'll be available. I think Nomad and Chimp will also be around to help out, so people can say they got trained, get the slots they want. But it will be a chapterly thing where basic training will be not required, but suggested strongly.
What are the roles that are that you have to go to basic infantry for?
Auto rifleman, marksman, grenadier, team leader are the main ones. If there's like I think that's pretty much it, because
medics.
Medic is specialized, so you have to get medic trained for that.
Yeah, but I think every chapter should be a medic refresh.
Yeah. There definitely should. I mean, we're not changing up much this time, although we could if we wanted to put that coagulating blood feature on. It might not be bad.
It's still broken.
Oh, hold on a second, guys. I'll be right back. Hello? Hello? Hello?
But that the training Travis was talking about earlier, I'm excited to show it off to you guys when I get it done. I'm gonna let the chapter develop a little bit and let everybody get things settled in before I start really working on it.
Oh? Oh, you can hear me now? Say anything. Oh, what did you call me? I'm talking to and Kyle. We're doing our. I was gonna leave in about. I don't. At work. I am. I'm gonna leave in a few minutes. Be there soon, okay, babe? There soon. Okay? Huh? Well, I gotta wrap this up. I love you. I'm back.
Hello?
Hello? Not much of that you guys heard, but
You guys are talking about, well, you're actually having a very, very like tense argument about the proper thickness of spaghetti. You're more of an angel hair guy, is that what I heard?
actually, I am more of an angel hair guy. I like my angel hair.
And she likes just like full on ziti.
She's thin spaghetti. My grandma was thick spaghetti. Ew.
I like thick.
Fucking nasty.
He likes it thick.
He likes them thick. Triple C thick. Oh, I was getting my. I'm back again.
Welcome back again.
Yeah, I love my internet. So yeah, there's the training aspect is the big thing for chapter 6 here. And then yeah. And then maybe for chapter 7 we'll be returning to a familiar place.
No idea looking. Trying to remember what chapter 7 was.
You don't remember?
No, I don't remember.
Aww. Blaze, are you still here? I don't think Blaze is actually here.
Story roadmap. Oh, now I remember.
Yeah.
Yep. Now I remember.
Oh, Blaze is still here. I can't say anything. Cause yeah, we have like pretty much 7 and 8 all locked in.
Yeah.
And then yeah, you should have stayed silent, Blaze. It's okay. But yeah.
Uh-huh.
Also, debrief is something I want to push us to get better at.
Well, you know what I liked from OG Charlie Mike that we could do, we don't have to, is I always liked it when he would have us like strip all of our shit off from the mission and just sit down, have a powwow in mission, and just do the debrief that way.
I always hated that.
Oh, you hated that?
I hated it.
I like it sometimes. I like it. So for the USMC, I'll use that. Maybe for the first stop in the USMC, we'll do that. But it won't be a full
Well,
debrief.
we don't have to.
It would be like an in-game type of debrief, like okay, let's go over the mission in game, okay, and then go out of it, and then when we're done, do the regular debrief after. Just because I like it, kind of still feels immersive if there's, because after a mission, the squad's gonna gather up and go, okay, what happened? This is what happened. This is what we could have done better. Blah blah blah. Not really like going, oh hey Blaze, your leadership lacked a little bit in this, but like, okay, so we had to take this out, and that we didn't see this over here because Bravo team wasn't fucking watching their sectors. I don't know, just I like a hybrid kind of thing, because I don't want to. If we're in mission, I don't want to talk about the mission, because I just get real bad meta feels if we acknowledge that we're in the mission. Like, I don't want to acknowledge that.
What if we acknowledge we're in the mission?
Yeah. But yeah, so I kind of like it hybrid, but mostly we give almost no feedback now on the mission. Like, we give a lot of feedback on what we did. We're pretty good about leadership feedback, like, hey, you know, this happened and you really should have been a bit different with it or something like that. We do that. But like, and maybe it's just because I like it when people toot my horn, but for like for the last week's op, I worked my fucking ass off of that mission. It had, if you're watching the stream, I'm gonna pull it up. It had so many moving parts, and it was so hard to get fucking right. And like, I was so fucking proud of that mission. Hey, that was kind of lackluster, or like, why did this happen? Or like, oh, it was cool when this happened, or something like that. Like I want to hear more feedbacks about the missions themselves, not just how we did in the mission.
Yeah, something can always be improved, but I think people are just sort of like, at this point we kind of just like nail it.
Well, like,
so I think
so this mission isn't anything that we've done before. Almost nothing about this mission was our traditional mission. It had I mean, it had
That's
the
true.
one. No, it didn't even have a picture, did it? No, it had one picture, I think. But we had 60 AI right alongside us, infantry, 4 AI tanks that were friendly, 3 AI resupply trucks. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 triggers for artillery, 1 trigger that had the intro, text and music, and then we had the AI not only assault a position but then switch to a defensive mode. Like, that took me a while to figure out how to get them to do that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then like enemy AI, like I had to Zeus quite a bit last week because like we could have stayed there forever clearing out every last infantry from the city, so a lot of it I just deleted. The trucks would not come up on their own, and I didn't feel like spending another 10 hours in the editor trying to figure out how to do that. But like, there's enemy close air support is not Zeused. It comes in, and Kyle made that so great with his. Oh God! Oh no! That was just amazing.
Wait, what?
When the fucking SU-25 dropped the bomb right in front of us, and you were
Oh, that was awesome.
screaming. I'm like, yes, Kyle. But there's
Yes,
tasks.
piss your pants.
There was 4 tasks in the mission. One didn't work, and I didn't care that it didn't work. But like the 4th task, because tasks are I mean great. Nomad's gonna have to get used to them more than anybody. Because it's gonna help me as the mission maker communicate to say Nomad as the leader that there's another objective that I haven't told you about and I don't want to tell you about outside the game. I hate having to go into Discord, hey, there's another objective. Don't forget about it. Blah, this. Like, I don't like that. It takes me out of the game when I have to do that. I don't want to do that. So
See,
I put
the problem I have with that is
Yes.
most of the time when you do stuff like that, we don't know it's there, so we're just standing around with
Yeah.
our dicks in our hands, and there's nothing going on. And like I said, the indecision pisses me off when we're just standing around doing nothing.
Yeah,
I don't care what
it's-
we're doing, right or wrong, just do something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
that's a good point, and I should have been more clear to pay attention to tasks because it only bleeps up for a second, and it's easy to miss if you're doing medical.
It doesn't stay on the map. The map, not the
Yeah,
map.
so
Yeah, it's always on the map.
yeah, you just go to the map and you go to tasks, and it's there. But it's there for everybody too. So somebody can always be like, "Oh, hey, we got another task, boss." And it's gonna take some hammering out, but like overall, this mission was I don't know. I'm just fucking. It blew me away the first time I played it in testing all the way through, and I was just like, "Fucking A, I made a great ass mission." And
And
nobody
to comment
tooted my
like
horn.
on like what you said earlier about wanting more feedback from missions and stuff like that. Personally, I don't like to give positive or negative reinforcement to a mission, because from a mission maker's perspective, I know what goes into making one and the time and effort and energy, and I don't like to shit on other people's missions.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking,
That's just the way I look at it.
fucking sucks. Man.
It's always hard to do it in a way that doesn't sound like shitting on it, but like I'm never gonna take it like that. Me personally, if you say, "Hey," like if somebody was like, because I want to know, like, why didn't you like it? What about it didn't you like? Did you not like all the friendly AI? Did you not like the shortness of it? Did you not like the long trek to the mortar position? Did you not like? Is there something about the mission itself that you didn't like? Because like, okay, if it's just you, I'm probably never gonna change anything, and you're just a loser. Not but like it's like I mean I can't please everybody every time, but if I see like a trend that I'm keep doing something, like maybe people really hate the music or the intro text. People really aren't liking that. And people keep saying, "Hey, I'm not liking this," and a bunch of people are saying, "I'm gonna be all right. Well, I'm gonna stop putting it in then because." Or if people are like, "Hey, I really don't like tasks. Tasks take me out of the game." I'm gonna be okay. Then I won't put tasks in. It's not a change I'm gonna do immediately. It's gonna be something I want to make sure enough people don't like it long enough. But
That's one thing I've noticed too. With how many of us there are now, is every one of us has our own mission making style. So just because I don't like so and so in this person's mission doesn't mean I won't like it in another person's mission because the way they implemented it. And that's another reason I don't comment on it.
yeah, but I would just hope, and this Blaze is for you as well, who was listening, because Blaze said he doesn't have any experience, so he doesn't feel qualified, basically, to say anything. When
Your
it's
opinion
me,
is always valid.
when it's me, I am an open door. If you have any issues, anything you didn't like, anything you did like, I like both. I mean, if everybody's like, "Hey, I didn't like this one specific thing in this mission that you made of 1,000 moving parts, and this one moving part, I didn't like it at all." Blah blah blah. But so like when I'm so like just don't be afraid to tell me if it's something like that I had to Zeus the trucks up and they just kind of appeared in front of all you guys. I mean, so like I wouldn't like to see that in a mission. Like if Nomad, if you made a mission and you did that, I'm not gonna I don't want to say I'm gonna call you out on it, I'm just gonna be like, hey, I didn't like seeing the trucks pop in out of nowhere. So like if somebody said that to me, it's like that's fine. I'm just gonna say I got too lazy to manually put 800 waypoints down for them to go down the exact right roads.
Right, and that's the thing is like sometimes we're forced to do things like that because shit just doesn't go the way it's supposed to. So I know like
shit, man. Yeah.
Not to call him out while he's not here. I know Meme is terrible for that of calling out the meta shit.
Yeah.
And I'd really like to see that stopped, but there's not a whole lot we can do.
It'd be nice if there was absolutely no more meta at all, but we can't really.
Well, I hate it when Meme does that. Not to call him out. When like it wasn't
fucking Meme.
Like, yeah, this guy. No, I hate it when he's wrong too, because he's like, oh, it must have been like this. I'm like, no, that's not true.
It happens to me all the time. Like, oh, there was a lag spike. Travis is spawning things in. I'm like, I'm actually not in Zeus, so.
Yeah, I really want to crack down on the meta shit. It gets real quick.
But
yeah, I agree with that.
A big thing is, if anything, this is especially true. If anything is just straight too difficult, not hard.
Absolutely.
Not hard. I make missions that are supposed to be hard. I make missions.
There's a difference in a challenge and just bullshit.
I will make missions that have a purposeful, difficult challenge that people will not like. And I will continue to do it because, like, I will continue to lie in briefings about intelligence because it happens.
Oh, absolutely.
And there will be shit. But if there's just, like, a spot where it's like, hey, there was a squad in one building and they just fucking annihilated all of us and there's nothing we could do. Like, that, I want to hear about that because I'm going to be like, oh, fuck, I'm sorry I put too many guys down right there and it fucked you over. Because that's not my goal. My goal isn't to go, hey, here's an impossible challenge, get fucked. It's, hey.
I'm talking about High Noon being an example of an impossible mission from OG.
Yeah, but that's when we were testing
it was just designed to be bullshit.
Yeah.
Because that was our tester. That was our stress test.
Yeah. And honestly, like, that's what my defense ops are.
Yeah,
like,
right.
But those are
it's fine because we all go into it knowing we're not gonna win.
Yeah, you're supposed to lose. If you win, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
why did we win? I made this impossible mission, and you just went along and fucking won, you pieces of shit. But yeah, there's always like I love challenges. I will continue to put challenges in. Like we'll we might have an app where we don't have fucking maps. And if I believe it fits in the mission, then that's going in the fucking mission. It's really not ever going to happen much because maps are necessary. That was a bad example. But night ops without night vision, just completely undersupplied ops. I mean, I'm never going to make an op that has us against tanks and we don't have.
I think that's a great idea because. Oh yeah. I think the idea of not using night vision, the thing I learned at least, or noticed when in Vietnam was that night missions completely change when you don't have night vision.
Yeah.
They become horrifying.
It takes a lot of fun out of it for me because you can't see anything. You're looking at a black screen for 2 solid hours. I don't know. It takes it all out for me. I just assume not even play those ones. At least ones like that, where you're running through the middle of the jungle that is completely dark. You cannot even see your hand in front of your face.
But
it's different if you got street lamps and shit. Those things were goddamn annoying. They were funny at times, but I'm like, where the hell did that come from? I mean, the first one that you had come up on us, it scared the shit out of me.
All right, I do have to get going, guys, though.
Anything else you wanted to talk about before you go, Travis?
I don't think so.
Well, I'm excited about next chapter, and I just wanted to say that for me, I'm just sort of used to you making good ops, so that's why I don't praise you anymore because I know it goes to your ego.
Well, fuck you, feed my ego, bitch.
And so I think if you just started making bad ops, then we would praise you more.
I honestly think that the first op for the Marines, people are gonna be like, there wasn't really any contact. But I'm doing it on purpose. Just telling you in advance. There's not a lot of contact, and I'm doing it on purpose. I'm also telling you so that you're thrown off guard when I throw 500 enemies down your throats.
I'm just glad you guys enjoyed my one I made the other day because
Dude, that was
that.
great.
I hated it.
Really?
Like I made it, and I'm like, this is not gonna be any fun. This is dumb.
I've had so many of those where I'm like, wow, nobody liked that, and everybody's like, dude, that was so amazing. I'm like, what do you mean that was amazing? That was a shit op. Like, but whatever. Okay, you fucking crazy people liking that shit.
It's like as I was doing it, you guys are like, holy shit, look at the planes and shit. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna spawn more. They're liking this shit.
But yeah, like this week is the first Marine op is very much a stage setter. Like there's bad guys will be in contact, but I also want to show like the fall of Fallujah towards the third battle of Fallujah again, which obviously isn't real life lore. It's our lore because of what happens at the end of 2014 as well. It's just a bunch of fucking like we get kicked out of the Middle East altogether and everything. So it's just building towards that.
Yeah. The world kind of just goes to shit.
Next week's op is going to be something completely different from what we're used to doing.
I can't wait. I'm so happy I'm going to be there.
I'm just kind of hoping it goes well because I'm struggling so hard to balance it because I don't know if it's too overpowered the way I have it set up right now.
Juice it.
I'm going to have to because like I have them down and as it plays out, I might have to delete them or add more because I don't know.
Like I hate to say Zeus it and don't play your own op, but like that's...
See,
that's a
I
good
prefer
idea.
to Zeus my ops and not play it. I have more fun doing that.
Oh well, then if you have fun, I don't have fun in Zeus. Like I have fun telling
like
the story.
To listen to your feedback.
You know, man, you piece of shit. Delete those tanks, you dick licker. There's too many enemy tanks, man.
All right, this fat driver's getting 3 more sent directly at him.
Fuck you!
Here comes a scud for Travis.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm super excited for this chapter. I think it's a perfect setting for us to kind of return to OG ways and early chapter 1 and 2 ways.
Yeah, because I mean, 3 and 4 we were doing a lot of shit that was kind of not us.
I think 4 definitely just lost focus.
Yeah, 3 started
everything.
to at the very end.
Yeah. Although I will say I'm so proud of that 12-hour or 8
I would honestly be open to doing another.
I want to do another for sure. It's just organizing it all again.
So I remember in chapter 1, when I started out playing as the CDF, I didn't really have a true goal in mind.
That was 2.
But what was it 2? Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Idiot.
But as the story developed and I lost more and more stuff, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna make him go batshit crazy and commit war crimes.
That was perfect.
And everybody loved it.
Yeah, that was perfect. Anyways, I do have to get going though, because my girlfriend's waiting for me to pick her up. So I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching, Blaze. Yeah.
Thanks for playing chapter 5.
Thanks for